Mihir Vora, Director and CIO at Max Life Insurance, joins us on the show right now. Mihir, not bad, the kind of resilience that our market of late has been showing to whichever way the global markets have been moving. But do you sense that we could get a little wobbly now that we are approaching the budget, as small as an event it may be, but also would be a precursor to what kind of announcements we're likely to hear from the government closer to the general elections?
Good morning. Yes, it's been a pleasant surprise the way the markets have been, not volatile, so to say, in the face of local and global events. And as you rightly mentioned, the budget, we don't know whether it's a small or a big event, frankly, because there's still that debate about whether it's an interim budget or a full-fledged budget. So again, fingers crossed on that too. Having said that, markets are looking a bit wobbly because of local and global factors. One is that valuations are still not on our side at these levels, and we haven't seen the kind of earnings kickers that we expected to come in because of a host of factors. So I'd be a little cautious at this point in time.
Right. So as you maintain the caution in terms of a near-term view on the markets, what would you say is the safe haven in the markets right now? What would be safest as a sector to be hiding under?
I'd say given the kind of noise that we are seeing on the fiscal side, especially on the spending on the rural segment, etc., there is a good chance that we might see some weakness in the bond markets as well as in the currency. So to that extent, the currency sensitive sectors like IT and pharma probably make sense as a safe haven, as you said. And on the other hand, you also have the positive benefits of, well, short-term fiscal profligacy, so to say, coming into consumption, which is basically the consumer-linked stocks like FMCG, etc. So these are probably a couple of safe havens that we can think of at this point in time.
What's your expectation in terms of earnings revival and the earnings profile for FY20, given what we can deliver in FY19? One more quarter to go for that?
So FY90 would see double-digit kind of overall growth, which is okay, but not that impressive given the low base of the previous year that we have seen. We would have expected at least 18 to 20% growth at the beginning of the year, but I think that's going to be tapered down. For FY20, again, our base case is about 15%, whereas the market is probably close to 22%.
And in terms of sectors then, where is your bias building currently in the wake of all the policy announcements that are expected to come by through the budget?
Sure. So overall, as I said, consumption is probably one thing that can get benefited in the shorter term. IT and pharma because of the tailwinds on the US market as well as the currency tailwind. And we are also a little bit biased now towards the corporate private banks compared to before. So on private sector, we continue to remain positive on both retail as well as corporate banks. But in the last few months, we have probably increased more on the corporate bank side rather than the retail bank side. NBFCs, we continue to be underweight because what we like is not cheap, and what is cheap we don't like. So that's a bit of a conundrum there. So that's where basically we are looking at. In the energy space, probably valuations are cheap now, and we might look to buy in the oil and gas and petrochem and refining space.
Right. Where do you sense that the pressure would come in for the markets? As we look at it, when it comes to earnings so far, the bigger disappointment have been in the market-related sectors. I mean, the fact that ICICI Pru has fallen down the way it has. We saw HDFC, AMC come out with a poor set of numbers as well. So clearly, the market movement in Q3 has borne its brand on some of these, market-linked companies, if I can call them that.
Sure. So as I just mentioned in the beginning, there are signs of slowdown. So not only in certain segments that we talked about, but if you look at the cement top line numbers, volume numbers, the car volume numbers, rail freight growth, even toll road connections in a certain in certain instances, there are distinct signs of things slowing down on the economic front. So we are of the view that the consensus, which is expecting 7.5% GDP growth rate in FY19 as an exit run rate, or even for FY20, is probably over optimistic. We are closer to the 7% mark. So we are a bit less bullish on growth as of now compared to the consensus.
On financials, what's your specific view right now, Mihir? Do you think we've seen the worst in terms of the NPA cycle behind us?
Yes, on the financials, as I mentioned, because the corporate banks, especially the private sector corporate banks, had been beaten down for quite some time, there was relative value, and we are beginning to see the resolution process now slowly but surely going forward. That compared to the valuations provided a good equation. So I would still say that private sector corporate banks have some upside left in absolute as well as relative terms. And the retail financial theme, I think, does continue. There is nothing to prevent the penetration of the retail financials, so whether it's housing finance, SME lending, loans against property. I think the growth story is still there. We just have to worry about the risk management, which then comes down to individual company and individual management selection.
And where would you advise investors to maintain caution, and especially when it comes to the broader markets? Any specific segments or sectors?
So commodities is one space which did quite well last year because commodity prices did firm up in the first 9 months of the year. But now that we have begun to see a correction in commodity prices, China seems to be slowing down, doesn't make for a good equation. So probably commodities and energy, pure say upstream energy companies are places where probably we might see downgrades, and one can be cautious on. Other segment is on the fancied segments, where we have seen very secular growth in certain stocks and companies, where there is such optimism and valuations are so expensive that there is just no room for disappointment. So the really high hope segments in the market, across segments, especially most of them happen to be in the consumer durables as well as discretionary space, is something probably we might need to keep a watch on, because even if growth rates slow down a little bit from the high levels that people are used to, we might see a sharp valuation correction.
Neil, we'll let you go with that. Thanks very much for taking out the time to speak with us and share with us your thoughts on the markets.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Thank you.